Hi, everybody. I'm Ibuku, and today I'm going to be talking about Friday the 13th. It is Friday the 13th, and so I wanted to talk about some of my favorites within the franchise. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Um, I myself grew up with these movies, and one of my first experiences watching movies in general, being a little kid, I would say Jason was probably one of the first. I don't know if it's like the first movie, but it's definitely one of the first few movies I actually watched when I was a kid, like a little kid. This is in the early '80s. My family would, when VHS came out back in the day, that they loved to rent movies. They couldn't really afford to go see the movies often, so what they would do is they would just rent them at home for like a week, and then we would just watch them over and over again. But the Jason series, the Friday the 13th series, um, I'm trying to think. I was thinking which particular movie I saw first. I'm gonna say it was probably the second one. Um, I was born in '83, and then I remember. No, wait, hold on, because I remember watching Jason Goes to Hell. That was much later. I'm trying to think of the first Jason movie I watched. Probably, I would say number four. I think it was the fourth one, like the final chapter. No, it might have been the one with what's his name? I'll get to it here in a bit here. But so anyway, I was really young, and I was I was just hooked. I was like, what is this thing I'm not supposed to be watching right now? Because like you peek around the corner or like, am I really supposed to be watching this right now? I was really young, and I have always had. I mean, that just I was hooked into horror, into um, like just the various way these movies are made. Like I'm like, you can do that, and up to that point, I was trying to think like again, this is so long ago. I was such a little kid, and like I just remember being blown away by it, like watching these movies and like how violent they were, and I'm like, I'm actually getting this. I'm watching something the adults are watching. You know what I'm saying? So like, that was really entertaining for me. I really dug on that. That yeah, that really takes me back. I'm like having flashbacks of like back in the day of like at like this really rundown old house we used to live in, near Detroit, and like we would just these movies. I remember watching like Back to the Future there for the first time, and uh, yeah, like Friday the 13th. No, no, hold on, wait a second. No, no, Friday the 13th was. I think that was at my dad's house, which is totally different. So, but anyways, I was probably like 8 7 8 years old probably when I first watched the Friday the 13th. I did not see Halloween, so I like all I knew was Jason. I'm like, this dude is amazing. He just walks around killing people like he's unstoppable, you know. And like he's the bad guy, but it's weird that like he is both a victim but also the perpetrator. Like he is the hunt. You know what I'm saying? Like there is this weird dichotomy to this character that is so relatable to people. Like you understand why he kills. It's a very basic premise, right? He drowned in the lake because the camp counselors were screwing around in the bed. Okay, and then the first movie is uh, it's kind of a who done it. I think like the first movie, if I remember correctly, and it's been a while since I actually watched these, but like I thought about watching them like before doing the video, but like it's so many, there's like what like 18 movies by now. And then the video game. I played a little bit of the video game. I'll get to that a little bit. I'm not. I haven't. Like if I, like I knew a friend of mine who has it, and I played on his at his place. I didn't get to. I don't own it. I thought about buying it, and maybe I will one day, but um, I don't know. I heard mixed reviews. I heard some people really like it. Some people it's like okay, a lot of DLC and all that. But anyway, so the first movie is with his mom, but you don't necessarily know it is his mom at first, right? It's a whodunit. So like Betsy Palmer as Mrs. Voorhees, and she is like she plays like this supportive role at first, and like she's there for the people and stuff. Um, and then at the end is the big reveal. So like, let me see if I can pull it up real quick here. I actually have it. So like, yeah, you've got what was her name? Tina, I think was her name. Let me pull it up. That was the first girl. No, Alice. Right. So you got like Adrienne King as Alice, and she plays the main girl in the first movie. And so I'm not gonna play the video. I'm just gonna kind of like jump to various clips, sort of like various moments. So she arrives and tries to help her out, and she's giving her some advice and stuff like that, and trying to help her out, gives her a hug, and then and then comes like the big reveal about who she is and everything. Let me see if I can pull at least some closed caption it. Is this just the place? It's just this place in the storm. Alright, so let me see if I can jump ahead here. No, they're all dead. Alright, I'll go look. They'll kill you too. Please. Right? And then like he's trying to convince her and everything. So let me pull this up here. I guess that's the end of the scene, but like in this moment, it's just that's the big turn, right? About like how she is, she's the actual killer. And if I remember correctly, the phrase was "kill her, mommy, kill her" or something like that. I think that was it. I just watched. I actually put it in the description of the video. At the bottom, there's a link to a documentary that came out. Really, it was just a promo, like an hour and a half promo for the 2009 remake that came out. They were like basically just doing a summary of all the previous movies. And they had like a lot of the directors and Kane Hopper, who was the main Jason character for like 4 or 5 movies, and so like there's a lot of people like involved, and the whole video is hosted by Tom Savini, and so he's really great too. You couldn't have horror today without Tom Savini. That's just me. I'm not a huge buff. There's many other people who are like much nerdier and like into various things, but these are just things that I like to talk about. This is just what I grew up with, and I'm just sharing my thoughts. Just putting myself out there and all that. Which one is this? Part 3? I don't want to get there just yet. So, what you find out is, hold on, let me stop this because Grammarly's going to pop up. And I don't want Grammarly to pop up. I've been getting these, like all of a sudden I've been getting ads, and I got the ad blocker, but it still comes up. I don't know. So let me pause that for a second. I'm also going to, let me pull up some screenshots from the first movie. So these are gonna give like a visual without having the being flagged for like copyright or something like that. I got 2 videos that were flagged from earlier. It was when I was watching trailers of the Doctor Strange video and Thor, as well as the Jurassic Park. I did all the first trailer for each movie leading up to the most recent. It's coming out. Was it Dominion? So I still have it available. They didn't take it down or anything. They just copyright claimed it. So I'm like, yay. Let's see here. Friday the 13th. Alright, hold on. That's supposed to be paused. Alright, so let me back here. Friday the 13th. Let's go to part two. Part two is the continuation. Like the first four really are like the same block of story. Okay, um, and I believe they, what is it? The second one, like what is it? The first or second one? It might be the third one. They all take place like the day or day after Friday the 13th. So like, they were talking about it in the documentary. I was watching that earlier, and they were saying that like, was it two, three, and four? I think, or like in a row. Um, and then like the rest of them, that how the rest of them go. But like, um, so let me pull this up. I'm thinking about it. All right. So that's part one. Let me just go back here. Friday, 13th, part two. Is this the one with Kevin Bacon, or is that the last one? One of them's with Kevin Bacon. Friday the 13th, part two. Oh, it must be the first one. Let me go back here. Hold on. Yeah, yeah. So it is the first one. That's the one scene. I actually have it in the thumbnail of the video of where he gets killed. I think he gets his throat gets sliced. So yeah, that's a really great scene, and like I think that was really early in his career. Let's go to Kevin Bacon real quick here, because that was really early in his career, I believe. 'Cause I don't think he was in Footloose yet. Here we go. So let me go all the way down back in time. So let's see, that would have been, okay. So here's Footloose. Yeah, so that was before Footloose, and so like his major, right, right, that's right, because like his big breakout was Animal House. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Starting over, The Gift, Hero at Large, and then Friday the 13th was another one. And I guess he's on Guiding Light for a couple episodes. Looks like, wow. And then Footloose. So like, yeah, that's crazy. Like really early in his career. It's also parallel too, because Johnny Depp is in was it the first or second uh, Nightmare on Elm Street, I believe. Like he was one of the teens that gets killed. Uh, he actually had a really great scene. It was I think it was like when his chest exploded up in the air. That was really cool too. Um, so let me go to part two. Oh wait, we're gonna go to Kevin Bacon. Apologize for any background noise. It was actually getting warm in my apartment, and I don't feel like turning the air conditioner on for extra electricity bill. So, keeping the window open. So yeah, Friday the 13th Part Two. It basically takes over where the first one left off. In the first movie, Mrs. Voorhees, she is killed. Jason at the end of the movie. So there's like that scene at the end of the movie where Alice is like the last one alive, I believe, and then I think now I don't. Now that I'm thinking about it, technically that would be like the equivalent of a post credit now. Like how like Marvel or whatever movies they have like the post credit scenes or like the mid credit scenes, right? This would be the early version of that credit scene, right? But it happens at the end of the movie, like the way they set it up, right? It's a complete extra, right, to get you hooked into the sequel, which was really great. I thought that was a really great way to get you hooked back. I'm like, oh, like it was that moment, right? And so at the end of the film, there's Alice, and she's like floating in the boat, out on Crystal Lake, and then there's like this really lovely like music to go along with it to make you feel like, oh, it's finally over, right? And then like literally out of nowhere, this Jason comes up from the water, grabs her, and then pulls her back down into the water. So then that's the end of the first movie, and then so that really gives you this, okay, oh wow, Jason's actually alive the whole time, or like maybe, or you don't know what he is at first. There's like some people say he's still kind of alive, but like um, I don't know. That's a hard one because like there's this. You don't get a lot of backstory for Jason. It's a very basic story, right? A masked killer, kind of a copycat of Halloween, and you're, at a camp with killing counselors. Go, right? You're. It's very basic, and so in the second movie, you get to find out more about Jason. And in the second movie, Jason does not have his iconic hockey mask. So he actually has it was like a potato sack or something around his face with the eyes cut out so he can see. And then in this movie, he's getting revenge basically for killing his mom. And I think this is also where you first hear that right, that whole thing, which listening to that documentary I was telling you about earlier, the basically they just did some sound editing. They took Mrs. Voorhees' voice, where she says "kill her, mommy," and basically chopped it up to say, "kill mommy" or something like that. Like, and so like it just became, kill, 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 ch ch ch, and her, right? So that's kind of how they broke that down, and then and I would definitely recommend take a look. And I said before, take a look to that video because they give a lot of the behind the scenes that I'm not gonna be able to give it full due justice. So definitely recommend that for more accuracy. And let's see what else. What else happened in this movie? 'Cause it's been a while since I've seen a lot of these. This is the one. Okay, yeah. So as you can see with the photos here, I'll just stick to these if they work. Probably flagged or some nonsense for photos. Um, so here you can see he's got the bag over his head in this shot, and like being tackled. There you get to see the head of his mother. Actually, he's worshiping in like this swamp area that he's staying at. Uh, this is the main actress here. I guess that's the various things. Let me get out of here. All the stupid jocks and like guys. Oh, that's right. He was in a wheelchair too. So like, all right. So there's that, and yeah, and of course you have the various beautiful girls and whatnot, and that's part of the series. But what's good about this series is that like not everyone dies. There's actually a lot of girls who uh, stay alive. So this is one of the scenes I think in the second one towards the beginning here where Alice is at a new location, like at her new home, and then Jason actually comes and finds her, um, and that's when she actually gets killed in the second movie. So that's really the last you see of her. Um, of course, Jason goes back to the Camp Crystal Lake, and of course, there's what I was talking about. You've got him with the mask. You can only see one here. Looks like you usually only see the one eye. They've had various actors play Jason over the years. So, and like, what was his name? Kane Hopper, I think, was the most consistent. and that's what most people like recognize him from. So let's see, these are all just various photos. I'm kind of skipping through these quick here, and just because I don't remember. To be honest, I don't remember a lot about the sequel. Because you're so again, you have to remember there's like what 13, 14 video of movies, and of course, yeah, he gets that's right. He gets hit with the it was like an arrow. I forgot what that was. So he's got like that, and then that's a great scene with the kid Ferris campfire. Interesting. I guess that was what Jason looked like then. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. That's when the couple actually gets impaled. Let me go back. So that's when like he stabbed them both at the same time in the bed. All right. So you can see there's various. I mean, honestly, in the like, you could probably watch the first four in a row because they're all connected, and then five. Well, really, you could probably skip two if you wanted to. No, you really can't skip two. You have to watch one, two, three because he has to get the mask. Um, you could probably skip over four, five. Let's go to. Well, hold on. Let's before we go that far. We go to three. Three is the one that was in 3D. That's the other thing too. That was like the gimmick for the third film. There's a lot of scenes in that film you can see, uh, like they do special effects. So like obviously, throwing shit at the camera. I got a couple of videos here. So let me close that one out. Which one is this? YouTube Friday the 13th Part 3. Okay, so yeah, so here's like where they show Jason's face in Part 3. Let me skip ahead here. Yeah, so this is, I mean, you kind of like see where they're going with this, like at least in the third one, like he looks like the older version of what his kid self looked like with like that is he was deformed when he was born, right? He's got like I don't know what you would technically call that to be honest, but yeah, he's definitely got a. Let's get a better close up here. I don't know if I can get a close up. Yeah, there we go. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's get back here. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, and then this is actually from when he actually get stabbed with an axe. Apparently, if you get stabbed with an axe, you can survive. Like, at least he can. Maybe it's that extra part of his brain on this side that makes up for it. I have no idea how that works, but he's definitely. I don't know, like. They actually mention it in one of the films too, but like one of the kids feels sorry for him, like, just a kid in an adult's body who's, mad about killing his mom, and then he just becomes like really pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Somehow he becomes like a zombie and then just continues on. It's really like it's a really kind of a tragic character. Thinking about it, like just his evolution throughout the films, he just becomes more and more messed up. So somebody mentioned that it was like a Quasimodo turns into like this death character, like the Grim Reaper, right? And there's a lot of parallels. Actually, I was thinking about it too. Like, if you wanted to continue Jason's story, you could somehow turn him into the Grim Reaper of Death or something like that, because it's not that hard of a stretch. I mean, he's got the mask, and like, so you don't see his face. He's already dead. That the machete is usually just a different version of like a sickle, right? The sickle just is on a stick or whatever, and it like overhangs. But like so, but you're still doing that motion. Uh, and then he's by like the later films, he's usually like the zombie Jason, right? And he's like wearing these rags basically, and so there's a lot of parallels there. I think like you could do a version of Jason where like he comes back and he is like fully covered in like ripped torn black rags or something. I don't know how you would like you could be able to figure something out like maybe like a like he's been living in the fucking swamp again and or like just maybe just continue with the same type of outfit, like how he had in what was it, Freddy versus Jason. He had like this overcoat with like a regular shirt, but it was all like muddy and shit like that. If you could continue something like that, and well, it depends because if you want, it depends of how much you want to continue with the continuity of the story, which they really don't stick to. They don't stick to continuity throughout each film much at all, except for like the first four are really connected. After that, they just kind of like went with the flow. Um, so like by the 10th film, though, Jason X is technically the furthest along in the continuity of the story. He actually is sent to another planet, like Earth 2, I think it was, and then he crashes again on a lake. I don't know if it's actually called Crystal Lake, but it's definitely a lake, right? And then it pans over and you see like these this a young couple by the lake, and of course, so you could I guess you could continue off the story there if you really wanted to in the future. I think that would be interesting. Um, you would have to get rid of his nanobots, right? So like theoretically, if he went through the atmosphere of Earth 2, that could have theoretically ripped off his nano, like a lot of his nano parts, right? At least most of them, okay? And so now then he's like covered in like a lot of mud and shit and like kind of like swamp thing or something, like just covered in like this moss and everything when he gets out of the lake, and then like he finds like some old fucking rags to put on or something, and then or I don't know, like a trench coat or something. You know what I'm saying? That like, and it just makes him look more even more like death. Okay, and then he just happens to find a sickle, which would be amazing, or like a hood, like some form of hoodie or something, or like a cloak or something. I don't know how that would work, but like that would be interesting. You could continue the story off of there, and then he's just known as Death or something. They don't know him as Jason Voorhees. They just know him as this Death. Like he just goes around killing things, and he can't die, right? Um, I think. I mean, they have killed him in a couple movies. I think there was like they blew him up in one. They did like a firing squad on him. They froze him. That was in the Jason X. Uh, let's see. They they threw him in the river or threw him in the lake with a rock tied to a rock and a chain, so they killed him that way. Uh, the, he's been electrocuted, set on fire. Um, uh, yeah, I can't even. There's so many ways that he's been killed throughout all the various movies. Again, they've had like 13, 14 of them or something like by now, including the remakes. So I don't know where they're gonna go with that. Um, let me jump to. Wait, no, that's Manhattan. I don't want to go there just yet. Let me pause that.
One day, you're gonna change the world.
Stop. Don't want to get flagged again. Okay. So let's see. Let me pause this too because it's gonna play.
I can feel it getting stronger.
Lovely. I pause you and you still play. That's great. Just doing whatever the hell you want. that's awesome. All right, so it's Jason in Manhattan. Let me go back. I'm gonna just jump ahead. I'm gonna be real. I don't like a lot of the movies are they're good ones. Like the ones with uh, Corey Feldman, right? Those are pretty good. Um, I'm gonna jump to my favorite though because I just love talking about it, and I don't want like I was thinking about how long I wanted to do the stream. Looks like I've been going for about a half hour now, so I'm probably gonna go for another half hour maybe. And but this is my favorite. I want to talk about this one because this is my favorite Jason movie out of all of them. Is the New Blood, and it's because of the whole. They basically wanted to do Carrie versus Jason, and I thought, I mean, that's a great premise. I thought, and what's great about this is it also adds to the mythos within the movies themselves, right? So now we have psychics in the world of Jason, and technically, if you want to consider Freddy versus Jason also in that same universe. Um, that would be interesting. I would like to have this character come back in the future. I think she would be a great foe. I mean, she's a great foe. She went toe to toe with Jason, right? Not only that, but she brought him back to begin with. In the first, this is the one I remember the most. So like, she brings him back, and she's trying to remember her father. She was basically she had telekinesis and like various psychic powers, and she started when she was a little girl, right? She then met this doctor, and then the doctor was he basically used her for experiments and things like that to like to see how powerful she was and everything. And then like what how she got there to begin with though was because she was upset with her dad, and then she made the what do you call it, the dock, right, the water dock, and she made it collapse and killed her dad, and she felt really bad about it as a little girl, and so that's why she had to go through a therapist and blah blah blah. And then she comes back in this movie. She actually comes back to the same place at Crystal Lake, and she feels really bad about it. She feels bad about her, her dad and everything, and so she wants to bring him back. And she says, I'm sorry, Daddy, can you help me, bring him back? But in the process of doing that, she doesn't bring her dad back. She brings Jason back. And in the previous movie, I think this is the one where he was killed underwater and then hooked to a chain, right? So he comes back, and this movie is one of my best. I think this is the best out of the whole series. So here's her like as a little girl, and then she's remembering all that, and then so here you got Jason. He's hooked to the rock as a ball and chain basically, and then that actually gets him alive. If you see the Jason here, he's basically dead in the water, and I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack is so good when he comes back. I love it, and it's just amazing when like you got the bubble effect, and like all of a sudden he just comes back to life. You know, so at this point he's basically zombie Jason. I mean, I think she faints in this right here. This is my favorite fucking costume out of the entire series because you get to see this. You get to see his spinal cord, and like this is what I'm talking about, like him in rags and everything, and then that same guy, I think Kane Hopper, right? This is the main guy. He's like in this movie, so like as Jason. But I love this. I love the whole costume that he did in this one, because yeah, he's just full. Like you can see the progression throughout the movies too of like the various of him coming back, and like you can see in this movie they try to show him like gone through all the various things that he's gone through, and like I love it, dude. And the fact, and it makes sense, right? If you're underwater decomposing, yeah, your fucking spinal cord's gonna show. I just love that though, and like it makes you wonder, like, how does he still move? How is he still alive, right? Or like he's not really alive; he's undead. But just take a sip. But I do, man. I love this whole scene. And then when he comes back, he's still got the chain around his neck. I love it. I love this whole movie, dude. And then what's the other scene here I got? Yeah, this one. This is where they go toe to toe, right? And let me go back here. So right here, this is a few minutes later, but just before this, they were in the house. And let me see if I can find that video. I think this is it here. Psychic showdown scene. Yeah, this is really good, man. This whole scene is that like this whole. I love this movie out of all of them. You get to see Jason, bro. I mean, he is full zombied out, right? Like, if you go back to the previous uh, uh, video here I have from part three, you can see clearly the evolution of this character, right? He got hit with an axe here, and then you go back, and you can see he's got the same scar right here, right? And like I think he's been shot once or twice, so he's got like all, yeah, dude. Like, and here's another thing too. Like, wait a minute, let me go back here. His eyes are different, so that's the other thing they changed. Um, this was his normal eye, and this wasn't, and so they changed this around. It's the other way around now. Like this eye is much better, and this one's basically gone. And of course, that's the next movie. Let's see here. Yeah, so he's in the basement. Let's see. Hold on. I love that. I love that. Yeah. So just before this scene, let me see. Let me see if I can find the various scenes. I don't want to like just go through them, but well, I'll just tell you about it. So basically, like, just before this scene, you've got they're upstairs, and Jason's chasing after her. She uses her psychic powers, wraps him up in the cord, the power cord that's coming from the ceiling. Like there's like a ceiling light. She wraps that around his neck, picks him up, chokes him for a second, and then like drops him, and he goes right through the into the basement. In doing so, that's when she tries to get over and then like crawl over, but I think I don't know if she falls or he pulls her in, and then I think that's when she knocks over the staircase on top of him, which knocks him out, and that's what we just saw just a second ago. And now he just woke up, and now he's coming after her, and she's using her powers and stuff. So this is awesome. Yeah, so this is where he rips off the power cord from his neck, which is great. And let's see here. This is where she starts. I love the way she uses her psychic powers too. It's not like she's not doing that, right? She's more just using her facial expressions a lot, and like I thought that was a nice different style to, which is a lot more like Carrie, right? There was a lot of that. Carrie would give you that look like, duh, and then like something would happen, but I like that style more than the standard, moving things with your hands, and it doesn't seem necessary. Like if you're going to be able to move things with your mind, shouldn't have to have your hands move, right? You should just be able to do it with your mind. It just makes sense. So yeah, she uses the gas here and then sprays them all with gasoline, and that gets everywhere. And then that's when she starts the fire from the furnace, catching him on fire, which is great. I love that. That's a great scene too. And like basically tearing down the whole house, right, and sets her on fire. And then right after this is that might have been the last scene. I think was actually before this. Come to think about it, yeah, it was. Jason versus psychic scene. Was this it? Yeah, so this is before that. Yeah, so this is before that. So like, she was still in the. I don't know if it was the same cabin or a different cabin where she knocks over the whole like the porch deck. The whole thing just collapses on him, and then she starts running away. Then he gets up again, continues chasing after her, goes into the puddle, and then when he's in the puddle, that's when she actually grabs him with. She uses the roots of the trees, like she could move the roots of the trees, grabs around his leg, like holds him in place, and then uses the power lines nearby, and it electrocutes him within the puddle. And that's where he was at right here. But he, of course, Jason's Jason. He's gonna get right back up again, and now he's pissed. So let's see here as we starts chasing after her. She makes it back to the house with where the party was at. They were throwing I think it was like a birthday party or some celebration earlier. Crashes the fucking window because he doesn't need to go through the door. Fuck that. Comes right after her. She starts moving furniture and throwing shit at him, which is great. So I can do this just right here. That's awesome. And let's see here. Yeah, this is where she throws like a chair at him with her mind. Is this where? Yeah, this is where the So this is where that. Yeah, that's the This is the scene where the porch falls on him. Oh, that's great. I love that scene. This whole movie is great, dude. Let's see what else they're going to talk about. Yeah, I think they could really expand on that mythos, the whole mythos with her, with like and being. I think she was also in the next one too. Let me take a look. See if there's in the chat. Probably not. Good old YouTube. Yeah, well, if you happen to see this later on, join the chat live. You know, that'd be great to have people join in. That'd be fun. I'd like to have a conversation once in a while. Yeah, there we go. So at least, okay, so I updated it, and now just searching Friday the 13th by itself live, now I'm coming up. So that's great. At least now I can be found. Uh, that's awesome. Maybe it's biased. I don't know. But hey, at least I can see it. That's the best I can do. I don't have a remote connection, so yeah, whatever. I just want to make sure that it's being found. I want to make sure I can get the various tags correct, and like just to make sure I can, like anybody else, you want to make sure your channel's up, man. So like if you happen to find this later on, I apologize for going through and doing all that. I just want to make sure that everything's right. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm moving on. Now I'm talking about Jason Takes Manhattan. That's right, Jason Takes Manhattan. This was the jumping the shark, I think, for the Jason series. Because what's funny about the Jason series and like these horror movies that they had multiple sequels to was how do you continue these stories, right? And like how many stories can you do at a campground? The same story over and over again. And then like So I can see how like their idea of like, well, of course Jason has to go to Manhattan. What if he was in an urban setting instead of a rural one, right? A rural, the rural jour. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I can see the progression of them doing that, and then is the same girl involved? As I don't think it was. I think it was a different chick for the same character. Um, I'm looking right now. As Renee, Jason, Charles, Colleen, Toby. No, so this is not the same girl as of the last movie. That was a different girl. So I thought they were the same. Yeah, I think. How does he come back in this one? Is it? I think he comes back by. He gets electrocuted, if I remember correctly. There was. Um, yeah, this is the one where he gets electrocuted. I thought. Like there was a power line that like runs across the floor of the lake, and then that sparks the and that like revitalizes him and resurrects him. I guess you would say. So let's see, Friday the 13th, part 8. Yeah, so I'm not going to play the videos. I'll just do see what thumbnails are playing. So that's a great scene where like they have like this whole party on the boat. So basically, how it was is, according to the director, like they thought that you could have the lake connected to the ocean, right? Kind of makes sense, sure, but they glossed over it, right? So the boat is in Crystal Lake, takes a ride out to the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and then from the Atlantic Ocean to New York. In that process, Jason climbs aboard from the anchor and then starts killing off the people one by one until they get to New York. Um, well, in New York, they have like that great scene where like he's meeting like this gang or something, and they're trying to act all hard, and all of a sudden, all he does is raise his mask to show him like to show the whole gang his face, and they freak the hell out because obviously he's dead, and then like he just lowers his mask again and walks away. It was like it's one of the few moments that Jason really has character. There's very few moments, but I really enjoy it. There's certain moments where like he'll head tilt or like he'll think about something or like he'll get mad. You can see him getting mad in some scenes in the franchise of like, oh, you pissed me off now. This movie especially, like the when he's on the rooftop, fighting the boxer. What's his name? Julius, Julius. Yeah, that was a great scene because they gave really great hype up to like he's like this professional boxer, and like you can see him. He gets like all these great shots with Jason. He's like just hitting him and shit, but then he tires himself out. Right, Jason can just take it because he's already dead, and then like all of a sudden, Jason like winds up and then just punches him so hard, knocks his head off. Like it's so ridiculous. Um, let's see, car explosion. I don't remember that scene. Ah, yeah. So there's the gang, and so like this is the part where he shows his face right there. That's really funny. It's a great scene. And let's see what else here. Oh yeah, this is where he's on a subway, just knocking people over, not giving a shit. That's great. Yeah, here's the scene where he's a boxer. Yeah, so he's just knocking him right, pop, 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 and then like Jason just winds up and hits him right in the face. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so he kills the rapist dude. And let's see. He just doesn't care, man. He's Jason. He just kill whoever he wants to kill. This is kind of a weird scene where like he's in the sewer at the end of the movie, and then like he has like this. He reverts to being a kid again with like I don't. It didn't make much sense. It was kind of a. It was a weird take on the character at that point. Like he gets hit with what was it? Jason in the sewer. Okay, so yeah, so she throws was it tar on him? No, acid. I think it was acid, and then he starts melting. Oh yeah, that's right. So let's see here, chasing him down the hall or down the sewer, and I think it was sludge or something. Or it was just sewage. I don't remember if it was just sewage or if it was toxic sludge or something. That he gets hit with, and that's supposed to, and that like melts him or something, and then all of a sudden, what's left is like a little kid. Okay, so yeah, it catches on fire, some lightning, and then all of a sudden he's a little kid again. But he's normal. He's not like a. He's not messed up, right? He doesn't have what do you call it, disabilities. He's just a normal kid. So I don't know what they were thinking with this ending. That was so weird where they were going with that. Um, and then from there, let's see, just was part 8. What was part 9? Was Jason Goes to Hell, I think? Yeah, so let's go to part 9. The Final Friday. This one I remember specifically in, I think it was at Hollywood Video or maybe in Blockbuster back in the day. But I specifically remember seeing this video on cassette in the movie theater or in the at the rental place. I think it was a what was it called? I said it a second ago. It was Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. I think it was Hollywood Video. Um, let's see. Jason Goes to Hell in this one. There wasn't a. I think this is the one. This is the one. Yeah, this is the one with the serpent. Like it jumped from body to body because in the beginning of the movie they kill Jason right up front. This is the one where the executions like they have like a firing squad and they basically blow him up. And then they take like an autopsy. The mortician like eats the snake thing. It's supposed to be a demon of Jason, and then they like that demon just gets passed from one person to the next throughout the film, and then somehow at the end of the film like turns back into Jason, which was really stupid. So like, yeah, that was just like, what are you doing at this point? Um, like I felt like it's kind of messed up because like the character itself is just yeah. This is the beginning of the movie here. This is where this girl is actually luring him to the firing squad, I believe. Yeah, yeah, this is the one. Yeah, see, this is where the firing squad comes in and like just blows his ass away. Yeah, so he's just getting shot, pop, 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 you know, and so he's got yeah, he's just being taken out, bro. He got set up, and then they blow his ass up. Oh man, that's great. And then yeah, so now he doesn't even have a head anymore, right? And like look at the so like his mask is actually at this point fused with his face, okay? And he's still got the same scar from that axe from like movies ago, right? So this incarnation of Freddy, or excuse me, of Jason is dead, okay? And then they bring him back. But what's great about this movie is it finally sets up the crossover between Freddy and Jason. Because at the end of the movie, you get to see, let's see if I can pull it up. Jason Goes to Hell. No, I don't want the trailer. Um, Freddy. This was in. Okay, so when did Final Friday come out? 93. Okay, so in 93 I was, how old was I? I was about 10 years old in 93. So yeah, I remember this being, it must have been Blockbuster in 93 instead of Hollywood Video. So but I definitely remember it being like the whole like 3 or 4 rows of this movie that they were trying to pump out like on rental because they were trying to make up for the sale. I don't think they nobody went to the theater to see it. Um, but they set up. This is the first movie where they set up Freddy versus Jason, and it took them what like another 10 years for them to actually get to it. So here's the surprise ending. This was the cool part about it. Yeah, so it sets up a nice evening here with our surviving couple. No, I think that was just a regular couple. I don't think that was even related to the story. But then you have the wind blowing over, and you see Jason's mask, right? And then, let's see if I can time it just right. They cut away, so it's a little bit farther out. Here comes the dog. Starts digging up the thing, I think. Yeah. Yeah, nice zoom in. Got the crack, classic crack. And then, out of nowhere, and then you have Freddy finally, after all these years, it was like what, from 1980, 81 to 93, so that's a good 10 years in the making of not only Friday the 13th films, but also Freddy films, the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And this was the first time they actually crossed this over. They were teasing the crossover. Now, mind you, this is in the early 90s, and like not many franchises were doing these crossovers at all. Like horror was like the only, there's been like not that many at all that I can think of offhand that were doing this type of crossover. Um, in fact, the next movie, the Jason X, the 10th film, I can't think of many other films where they set the precedent where if you make it to the 10th film, you have to go to space. And that's where they get this from. I think that's where they got that from was Jason X. Because that came in 2003, and that was such a shitty movie that was like a thing that like if you made it to the 10th film, well you got to go to space, right? It's just so ridiculous that you have to do it. And of course, was it the Fast and Furious franchise? They made it in 9 films instead of 10. When did I can't remember when Marvel did it because their first movie they went to space was Thor, I think. Yeah, yeah, that was Thor. So they got that really up front. But technically, by like the end of the series of like the end game, then you went into space into Thanos and all that. So yeah, this was a huge thing in the early '90s. People were really looking forward, like, oh man, they're finally crossing over Jason and Freddy. Oh wow, and that was a huge thing. And it took them 10 years to like make the next movie, and it wasn't even that great. That was the messed up part. Like this fight scene is probably one of the best uh, parts of that film of the 10th, so or like of the ninth movie. Let's see. Pause. Oh my god, you're such an asshole. Okay, so here we have Jason versus Freddy, and honestly, you can like I liked it. I liked the actual movie. I thought the way they set it up was an interesting take, and I liked how Robert Englund was in it, but it was disappointing knowing the Kane Hopper did not play the same Jason as he did in the past 4 or 5 films. He really became the signature Jason like physique, right? And in this one, they had a completely different actor, uh, uh, basically playing Jason. And they mentioned that in the documentary that I put in the description. So if you want to watch that after, I would recommend it. It was really more of a promotional thing, like a promotional documentary when the remake came out in 2009, and it's pretty good. It's basically it's a full recap of all the movies uh, leading up to the remake. So it's good. I liked it. It was hosted by Tom Savini, so definitely go check that out. And then this, I'm so tired of this thing. The computer's slow, and I just don't want it to get caught. But yeah, there's a great fight sequence between. There's a lot of blood, a lot of gore, and it's what you should expect a fight between these two should be, right? Uh, this is a scene. I think this is where. Well, let me see if I can get this just right. I think. What is it? Yeah, I remember he cuts off his fingers so he can't hold his machete, and yeah, but then he takes the machete and then re-stabs Jason with it and comes back at him and stabs him again with his claws, and like he just goes to take Jason down. But Jason's a boss; he can take it. He knows he can't be killed. You can't kill Jason. That's the thing about Jason compared to Freddy. Freddy, I think, has been killed multiple times too, but somehow he keeps coming back. So I don't know. That I think this is a yin and yang situation, but they're both one or the other, right? They're both bad guys, so you can't kill either one, right? She was pretty hot in this film. I don't remember her name. I'm gonna be honest. Let's see. Yeah, this is a great scene, and then like I love this. He rips his arm off and then re-stabs him with it. And then and then he gets stabbed with his own machete as well. It's so good in terms of like these two characters that cannot die, and then they finally get blown up because they were set up, and but I love it. The last scene now. Let's see if they have it here. Probably not. Um, yeah, they don't have it here, but the last scene in this is it's pretty good because like you see Jason coming out of the water. He's able to survive again, and then he's carrying the head of Freddy Krueger, and then Freddy's still alive. So again, you don't. I mean, they're both. You can't kill these characters, and what's worse is now, uh, in that continuity, they are both alive in the same world. So technically, if you really wanted to go by the continuity, by Jason X, Jason is now in the future on another planet, and you don't know where Freddy Krueger's at. Um, Now, it's a shame that Robert Englund got. I mean, we all get old, but it's a shame that he can't play the character anymore. Because I consider you can't have Freddy Krueger without Robert Englund. That he has been able to mold that character in such a way. It's kind of like the Joker. You can't. Uh, it's something that like I would compare it to um, how Mark Hamill has molded the and Bruce Timm have molded the Joker as I think the best interpretation of that character. Robert Englund has done that for Freddy Krueger. I think he has just got given such a performance and added such character to this horror icon. It's like it's just yeah. I you can't replace him. I you tried they tried doing the remake and it I don't think it went very well. You haven't seen another Freddy or Jason movie in a couple years, and I don't know if they're gonna do another one. They may just end it, to be honest. I'm kind of conflicted about that. Like I kind of hope Robert England comes back for one more shot. If I would really hope that he comes back, and I just if you could just give just one more, just one more round. I mean, if Patrick Stewart can come back multiple times as Professor Xavier, Robert England can come back as um, Freddy. I don't think they want him. I don't know if they want him because he probably wants too much, and it makes sense. I mean, he is such a synonymous and associated with the character. So I would really like for him to come back one more time to don the hat and the Christmas sweater, and just put that final stamp on the character, and just be like, okay, this is it, And if they can do that, make Freddy versus Jason 2. You know what I'm saying? Because technically they're still alive, or you know what I'm saying? They're still on the same Earth or whatever. I don't, however. I mean, you can make up whatever the hell you want, right? I mean, again, you're talking about they don't stick to a hard continuity, not really. Um, then, so let me go to Jason X. So right off the bat, Jason in space. That's hilarious. Um, this is where Jason is frozen because basically they didn't know what to do with Jason because he can't die, so they froze him in like cryogenics, and he is found by these people. I think they're like salvagers or something like that, right? And like they come back to Earth Prime, and it's just like this wasteland, right? Because we've ruined the Earth, and now we're moved on to Earth 2. So then they're like, yeah, well, we can sell this frozen Jason, as a collector's item. Somebody out there wants to pay money for this old serial killer. Uh, excuse me. So he is he. So then he is in. So he's unthawed. Basically, there's something happens and he gets unthawed, okay, and comes back to life. And then, in the process of killing the various people on the spaceship, they're in space by now. Somebody he actually gets hit, and then stuck. They actually set it up to where they can use nanotechnology to like heal people, right? And so he gets caught in this nanotechnology machine, and then becomes Uber Jason. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Uber Jason. Oh, wait. Gotta scroll way down. Just to find something here. Yeah, so I personally love that mask. I love that futuristic mask and the way they did it. Um, and like his costume, I think it's really badass. What is with these cartoons, for real? Let's see. Nanobots. Yeah, so here we got the screenshot. or this. They probably won't do it. Okay, so yeah, so they got the nanoparticles. They're healing, and that's what they can do. Now, when Jason comes back, it's badass. This is where Jason gets awoken. Like he gets unthawed and like comes back, and then he kills the chick, which is really cool too. A cool way to kill her. Uh, she is killed through the same liquid nitrogen, and like he dunks her head into the liquid nitrogen, freezes her face, pulls her out, and smashes her face right on the table, and it's like just gone. Right, her whole face is gone, and she's dead. It really she'd probably be dead when her face was in liquid nitrogen, most likely. But then you just got to have that extra scene where gets her face smashed. Let's see. So there's that scene. Where's the one where he gets the nanoparticles? That's what I want to see. Yeah, so right here, this is where that shit gets frozen. Opening scene. Jason gets an upgrade. Here we go. Yeah, so he's decimated. That's right, because the android kicked his ass. That's right. I think she was like got this full dominatrix outfit on, and like she's like strapped up with a bunch of guns and everything, and he's just left there. He's like a dead body. And then here's where the nanoparticles they go basically rescue him, and he gets an upgrade. Oh man. Yeah. So you don't really see him actually. Oh, they do kind of. I'm trying to find out where it was earlier without giving a lot away here. Yeah, so that's where the nanoparticles come in and they just take over his body. I guess they skip over. I thought there was more like they actually see. I thought they used to be able to see him actually being reconstructed. I thought that was a part of the movie. Maybe not, but I guess not. So then you got badass Uber Jason that comes in, which is amazing. I love that. Even it even takes the machete from I think it was like a. It's not even a regular machete. It's like a doctor's thing or something, like a hack. I don't know what you call it, but like, yeah, that's really badass. And I don't know if it was the same. I don't think it was a whole nother Jason altogether as well. I think that was the same actor. Uh, so they used somebody else for that. And then, yeah, so let me jump to where he goes into Earth 2. Yeah, Mom, I'm not surprised you're not going to give me what I'm looking for. Not surprised at all, man. Yeah, of course. Too many words for YouTube to figure out. Let's see if I can I doubt it. Mm, yeah, they're not gonna give it to me. Am I not surprised? Anyway, I was hoping like, I'm just gonna find that maybe it's at the end. Ending. Let's try ending. Yeah, this. Oh, you're searching too much for it. We're not gonna give it to you now. Like, really? Oh, come on. But so there's that, and that's basically Jason X. Like he, at that point, he's in the future, and he's like, he lands on another planet. I was trying to, I was really hoping to find that one scene. Yeah, you're not gonna give it to me, huh? Hmm. Was that same chick from Mortal Kombat? Was she in that film? Huh. I have to rewatch these. Yeah, you're just gonna avoid it. Oh, you're looking for something? We're gonna obfuscate your search. We'll give you everything but the thing that you're looking for because you searched it for multiple times and blah 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 blah. Ah, it's just whatever. But so that is Jason X. Let's see, what was after Jason X? There was that the last one for the remake? That was what 2003, I think. Let's take a look. I don't honestly. I don't even want to talk about the remake because I did not like it. I watched it and I just didn't think it was good. I didn't like what they were doing with it, and like they kind of combined like the first three movies, I think, into like it just really wasn't that great at all. Uh, it was a reboot or remake. Who knows at this point? Let's see here. Friday the 13th franchise. One thing I do have to give credit for about the Friday the 13th franchise that is better than, say, other horror franchises is that the story itself is so simple with Jason that it's really kind of hard to screw it up. And, like, compared to, say, the Halloween series, that, like, most of those, there's a lot of them that don't even, like, the continuity is so out of whack, you can't even keep track of it. Or, like, same thing with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, there's so many movies out of continuity that like none of them make sense. But at least with the Jason series, there was somewhat of a continuity. Not a lot, but a little bit, right? There was some continuity. Like I pointed out earlier about him getting hit in the head with an axe and all that stuff. So let's see here the films. Yeah, so Jason versus Freddy was the last film in that whole series. So there's Friday the 13th 1, 2, 3, the final chapter, A New Beginning, Jason Lives, The New Blood, Jason Takes Manhattan, The Final Friday, Jason X, Friday versus Jason, and then finally the reboot, just called Friday the 13th. And I would overall, if I had to pick the ones to watch, like I was talking about at the beginning, let me think here. I would probably recommend at least the first three to start. You have to watch the first one because that's the very beginning, and it's Mrs. Voorhees. The second one is good because it's the continuation, and he's got the potato sack over his head. It's a different character. It's a different take. It's like a. It's before. It would be like those earlier films were more like the Fast and Furious was in the early films. Like it wasn't just exploded with like basically superheroes and like just outlandish events. He was still humanish. You know what I'm saying? He was still like very human. He was more of an adult with a disability. He was living in the swamps at that point. He wasn't dead. So there's that. Let me think here. Let me go back. And then so like as the story progresses, he's just I don't know, man. I really think that the best way. Hold on, before I go there, I was going to finish what I was going to say. So my mind's just all scattered. So yeah, the first three, I would definitely recommend the first three. The fourth one, if you want to. Um, the fifth one, you can skip the sixth one. No wait, which one was? Watch the one with Corey Feldman. You'll want to watch that one. Um, both of them actually, because they have a great. I like how they have both of them. Which I think was 5 and 6. 7 you have to watch because that's Carrie versus Jason. 8 it's Manhattan. You can watch it if you want. It's kind of stupid. 9 you can skip. That was Jason Goes. But well, you can watch the ending as I just played. You can watch on YouTube. Watch the. You can finally get the crossover, and then Jason X. You can skip over it, but I like it. I like it, and then finally watch Freddy versus Jason, and then just skip over the remake. Just skip over it. I didn't like it. If you want to watch it. But I just didn't care for it. I miss New Line Cinema. I miss the early though that '90s New Line Cinema. They were kicking ass. Now they're nowhere near what they used to be because they were bought out, I believe. But I miss old New Line Cinema. New Line Cinema that brought you like Ninja Turtles and Mortal Kombat and Jason and like just yeah, they were knocking out of the park, bro. New Line Cinema was knocking out of the park in the '90s. Um, that's really how I can. I did it again. I keep doing it every time. And it sounds more and more like Forrest Gump. But that is the end of the video. And that's all I'm really going to talk about. Well, I did mention at the beginning that I didn't get to play the game a lot. I played a little bit of it, so I don't really have an opinion on it. It was kind of fun. From the time I did get to play it. I might buy it eventually, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Maybe if it comes a little cheaper in a couple of years, I could play it because I think it just. I mean, they've got like the like online mode and, but they all. I want to try the single player first and see how that plays. What else? What else? That's yeah. That's it. So, um, if you stuck through me through this whole video, I would really appreciate it. And throw the like, throw the comments. If you don't like my video, let me know. If you do like my video, let me know. Put hit the thumbs up. That would be really cool. And a subscription would be really nice. And just comment back because I've been trying to get more into this. Putting out videos more regularly. I've got some reviews that are coming up. I want to redo The Postman and what else? A couple other movies that I was thinking about. So yeah, I'm gonna put those out. I might watch The Postman tonight and try to get to it tomorrow and put it out tomorrow. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, that's all I really. I'm gonna end it here and have a great time, everybody.